Hello, everyone. I'm Chris Thomas. Thanks for joining us on the ABC 10 Plus app. We continue tracking breaking news in Butte County tonight. 2 students have been hurt after a school shooting. I want you to take a look. It happened around 1 p.m. today at the Feather River School of Seventh-day Adventists in Palermo. The school is located on Cox Lane, just east of Highway 70. Now, part of the highway just reopened tonight as the investigation continues. Meanwhile, the 2 students are now in the hospital in what the sheriff describes as extremely critical condition with a long road ahead. Both, listen to this, are young boys, just 6 and 5 years old. Investigators say the suspect was a man who was found dead from what appeared to be a self-inflicted gunshot wound. They say the man came on campus to meet with the principal to possibly discuss the possibility of enrolling a student. After the meeting, the principal heard shots being fired and screams, and that's when they found the student shot. 35 students were placed on lockdown today. They were taken to a nearby church to reunite with their families. And ABC 10's Garshpal Sangha has been there all evening. He joins us live in Butte County tonight. And Garshpal, I know you just got another update from the sheriff's office, right?
Yeah, Chris, that update wrapped up about 30 minutes ago here at the Butte County Sheriff's Office. Aside from the update that they gave us on the conditions for the 5 and 6-year-old boys, they also told us earlier in the evening they were looking for a driver. They said a driver drove the suspect, dropped him off at the school. Police were trying to figure out exactly who that was. During that update, we heard that that driver was an Uber driver, that they were able to find him. Right now, they're investigating him, trying to see if they can get any more information out of him as to if the suspect may have said anything in the car and whatnot. So that is what's happening right now. That is what they asked the public a few hours ago for their help. So the good news there is that they did find that driver. Right now, they are conducting their investigation. And during this news conference, we had a lot of little details come out as to exactly what happened. Again, all of this taking place around 1 p.m. Now, the Butte County Sheriff's Office told us California Highway Patrol was the first to arrive on the scene and was guided by school staff to an area where the suspected gunman was, and said it appears that the gunman shot and killed himself. A gun was found nearby and secured by authorities, and first aid was provided to those 5 and 6-year-old students. But citing a preliminary investigation, that is what the sheriff's office is saying, that some of these details could change. But what he knows so far is that the suspect possibly came on campus. We're told 2 days ago he scheduled an appointment with the administrators to talk to them this about if he can enroll one of his relatives at the school. So they told us that is why he was at the school talking with the principal. We're told there was nothing odd about that meeting. And when that meeting ended, the suspect went out, and that is when the principal heard gunshots. We're told students were outside, that we don't know if it was a recess, but the students were outside, and that the suspect had a gun and shot at 2 of those students. Again, that 5 and 6-year-old students were wounded. We're told right now, as Chris mentioned earlier, they're in extremely critical condition, that they're in a trauma center in the Sacramento area. So that is the information that we're told right now. We're told there was no connection between the students and the suspect, so this was sort of a random shooting that this suspect pulled off. So they're still trying to find a motive exactly into what happened here. But they do believe that the students were outside of the classroom when the shooting happened, that the suspect used a handgun, and not sure if it was bought legally. Not a lot of information has been released about the suspect. The sheriff's office saying that he does not want the focus to be on the suspect tonight. He wants the focus to be on those 2 little boys. But in the coming days, we should hear more about the suspect. So the FBI is also involved in this investigation, trying to help out the Butte County Sheriff's Office with any logistic issues. So this is what the FBI had to say about this investigation tonight.
Speaking as a parent, my heart goes out to the families and communities affected. No father, no mother should have to endure what happened today. Please know we're working hand in hand with the full force of the FBI to be able to assist the Sheriff's Department in any way or form they need, as well as your communities. As of now, we've had our evidence response team deployed. We have our victim specialists here to help with the family members. We have our agents, our special agents that are on the field working concurrently to assist with investigative efforts. And we're doing an entire workup of the subject to get a better understanding of his motivation, ideology, what else could help understand today's situation and incidents.
And law enforcement did tell us that they have identified that shooter, but they're not releasing any information at this point whether they had a prior relationship with him, but they're saying more information should come out as they go into throughout the week. Now, we're told law enforcement is going to stay at the school. They're going to stay tonight into the morning. It is unclear when that school is going to reopen, but the law enforcement did say that there's a lot of investigation to be done, a lot of evidence to be collected, and that they have to make sure to clean up that school before students are allowed back. So a lot of little details here and there. This is still a very evolving scene, a lot of information, a lot of questions people have as to why this even happened, but they're hoping in the coming days, weeks, a lot of those questions will turn into answers. Reporting live in Oroville, Garj Paul Sangay, ABC 10.
And Garj Paul, my heart just breaks for those young children and their families. I know you had a chance to meet with families as they were being reunited with their children today at the Church of the Nazarene. What were you hearing from parents today as they gathered to try and check on their children?
Yeah, Chris, parents just emotional as to this may have happened, especially in this tight-knit community. This is just outside of Oroville. This is a community as only about 35 students that go to this school. So the parents obviously not expecting this to happen, but this is the unfortunate reality that they're dealing with. But they're just thankful that their loved ones are safe, but also they're keeping those two boys in their prayers, hoping that they're able to make a full recovery and come through all this. But right now, police are trying to figure out if this is a hate crime. They haven't said whether it is not, but they did bring that up in the news conference, but they tell us that they're going to slowly try to go through the process to make sure if this is, but right now they're saying they cannot, but that word was certainly brought up for a lot of the parents and the staff member, and we also spoke to some staff member at that Church of the Nazarene. A lot of staff members just emotional over this ordeal. They didn't want to talk on camera because of the emotional state, but they're just heartbroken that this can happen in this tight-knit community. Chris.
Garj Paul Sangha reporting live for us tonight on the breaking news. Garj Paul, thank you. The Butte County Sheriff is, of course, no stranger to tragedy. Sheriff Corey Honey, who led tonight's news conference, helped lead the campfire response in November 2018, the Oroville spillway crisis response, and many natural disasters since then. Here's what he had to say about responding to yet another tragedy for the community.
Close my comments with the fact that here we are again in Butte County dealing with another major incident, major tragedy. And this community has endured so much over the last few years. It's hard to believe that we're back here again, but I can assure you that we're going to do everything we possibly can to figure out why this individual did the things that he did. And then, of course, moving forward, try to take care of those members of our community who have been impacted by this horrific event.
Governor Gavin Newsom released this statement saying, quote, "We are actively monitoring the shooting in Oroville. The state is coordinating with local officials, and state law enforcement are on the ground and assisting local law enforcement. Our hearts go out to the Oroville community and the students, school staff, and families impacted by this horrific act of gun violence." And Assemblymember James Gallagher, who represents Butte County, released this statement saying, "My heart is breaking for everyone impacted by this tragedy. We will never understand why or how someone could do a thing like this. I'm grateful for the bravery of the law enforcement, fire, and medical personnel who responded to this attack to stop the shooter and rescue the victims." The statement continues saying, quote, "As a community, we will all be hugging our loved ones closer today as we pray for the victims and try to make sense of something so senseless." Again, the heartbreaking update tonight is that the 5- and 6-year-old victims in this shooting are now in extremely critical condition with a really long road ahead. Investigators plan to be at the school tonight and also tomorrow, talking with staff about when the school could possibly reopen. They believe the school was targeted for its affiliation, but they will not say if this was indeed a hate crime, and this is not the time to speculate. Another news conference will be held at 1 tomorrow afternoon, and this investigation is really just getting started. So stay with us for updates on this breaking news right here on ABC 10 Plus. The app is free to download wherever you stream. Please be safe.